Hey guys, and welcome back to the 12th video in this bash scripting tutorial. In this video we shall discuss about the user input. So to read user input from the bash terminal, we use a special bash built-in command that is called read. And in this video we shall see how we can use this read command to provide input through the bash shell terminal to our script. Now this read command reads only a single line from the bash shell. And now let's see some examples of user input and how we can read them. Alright guys, so I have written this script and I'm using echo command to display this message. Please enter your name. In the fourth line, I am using read command to read the input that user is going to provide, and I'm saving that input in one variable, that is username. Then I'm again using echo command to print a message using the input that is provided by user. So let's save this and run the script. So it says please enter your name, so we have to enter our name. And then this is the message. Hello Tanzil, let's learn to read input from user in bash shell. This was a very simple example where we read the name of the user and then we printed a message. Now let's see how we can read input for multiple variables in a single line or in a single read command. Alright guys, so I have this script, and in this script we are going to read input for multiple variables. That is, we are going to read the input for first name and then second name in one single read command, and then we are going to print those input using one echo command. So let's run this now. Let me save it. Alright, now let's run it. Please enter your first name space last name. So I will just enter it like that. And it says, hello Tanzil, we know that your last name is Ansari. So this is how we can read multiple words in one single read command. Now the user input is broken into parts at white space, which means this white space is the reason why this input was broken into two parts. That is, Tanzil and Ansari were broken into two parts and then they were saved into different variables. So this happened because of this white space. Now you might be wondering that there will be some cases where we will have more variables than the number of words that we are entering, or there might be more number of words than the number of variables that we have used in the script. So these are three cases. The first case is very simple, where the number of words that we are going to enter in the terminal equals to the number of variables that we have used in the script. And in our example also we did the same. We had two variables and then we entered two words. So in that case the result is very simple. The variables are assigned with words respectively. Now in the second case, where number of words is less than number of variables, which means let's say there are two variables and we are entering only one word in the terminal. So in that case, one variable is going to have the one word that we enter and the other variable is going to remain empty. Let's see one example of that. So here you can see we are using two variables. So in the same way, we can use more than two variables also. We can have 4 or 5 variables. But if the number of words that we are going to enter in the terminal are less than the number of variables, then the remaining variables are going to remain empty. So let's run this script. Please enter your first name and last name. Let's enter only one word here and let's see what's going to happen with the second variable, that is last name. So you can observe that since I have entered only one word, so this word was saved in this variable, that is the first name, and then I have not entered any word for this last name variable, so it remained empty and hence nothing was printed here. Then in the same way we have third case. Now this case is very important. The number of words is more than the number of variables. In this case, the respective words are assigned to variables except for the last variable, which is assigned the rest of the input. So let's see in example. Let me run the script. So here in this case we are having only two variables. Let's say I'm going to enter 4 words. So I have entered 4 words even though I have only 2 variables. So what is going to happen is this first word, it's going to go into the first variable, and then there is only this variable left, which means this is the last variable left. So the last variable is going to take all the words which are remaining. So let's just run it and you'll understand it. And you can observe the first variable has taken the first word, and then the remaining words have been taken into the last remaining variable. In our example, we were having only 2 variables. Let's increase the number of variables just to make you understand it better. So first name, last name. So instead of that, I'll just make it name 1, name 2, name 3, and name 4. Alright, now let's save this and let me clear the terminal. Now let's run the script. Please enter your names. So now I have 4 variables and I'm going to enter 6 names or 6 words. So let's see how they are going to stack up against all the variables. So now I have 6 words. So let's hit enter. And you can observe, since we have 4 variables, so the first 3 variables, that means leaving aside the last variable, just accept the last variables, all the variables will get 1 word in the sequence, which means name 1 got Tanzil, name 2 got Ansari, name 3 got John. Then it's the last variable, which is name 4. So after the first 3 words are being assigned to the first 3 variables, whatever words are left, all of them will be assigned to the name 4, which is the last variable. So here you can observe name 3 was assigned John. So that means after that Dale, Ankit and Alok were free. So all these 3 words will be assigned to the name 4 variable, and that is exactly what has happened here. So that is how the assignment of words to variable happen when the number of words are not equal to the number of variables. And this is in the case of user input only. When we are talking about the command line input, this did not happen there. In the command line input, we saw that if we are having 3 variables and we are entering 4 values, then the first 3 values will be saved in the 3 variables and the last value or the last values will be rejected. That's how it happened in the command line arguments. But what we just now discussed here is for the user input only, and that is also only for the variables. When we are talking about the array, then you are going to have a different picture. The arrays behave in the same way as we have seen in the command line arguments, which means if we are having 3 index in our array and we enter 5 values, then only 3 values will be saved in the array. The last 2 values will be rejected, which is exactly how it happened in the command line arguments also. But this user input cases are different because when we are talking about variables, the assignments happen like this. So let's see what happens if we don't pass any variable with the read command. So here in this script, you can observe that I have not passed any variable with the read command. Now in such cases, there is one built-in variable which is called reply. This is the variable. So if we have not passed any variable with the read command, then this built-in variable reply is going to hold the value that we are going to provide to the terminal. So let's run this script and then you can understand it. Enter name and then I'll just enter my name. And also you can observe that the message is printed in one line and then the input is being taken into the next line, not in the same line. Then hit enter and then my name is printed, which means the input that I gave was saved in this built-in variable which is called reply, and we use this $sign to get the value which is being held in this variable. So here you observe that the message was printed in one line and then we had to provide the input which was taken from the second line, not in the same line. So if you want the input to be taken from the same line, like it should be printed enter name, and then in the same line you want to enter the input, then we have to use a P flag or a P option with the read command. So let's see how we can do that. Alright guys, so this is the script, and here I have the read command. Now along with the read command, I'm using this -p. Now this -p is going to allow me to input the value in the same prompt or in the same line. So let's run this. And you can observe the message is printed here, username, and in the same line it's asking for my input. So I'll just enter my name, and the username is Tanzil. That's how it's printing. And here you can observe one more thing, that we have not used an echo command to display any message here. We use the read command itself to print this message, that is username. No echo command is used here. The echo command is used to print the variable then. Now let's talk about the silent mode. Using the silent mode, we can enter sensitive data like password. So let me just clear this out. Alright guys, so I have this script. So it says read, and then because of this -p flag, it's going to let the user enter the input in the same prompt or in the same line. Then in the second read command, you can see I have -s and p, which means this S is for the silent mode. Because of the silent mode, whatever value the user is going to enter for this password will be hidden. And then because of this P flag, the user is going to enter the input in the same prompt or in the same line. Then I have used one echo command, which is empty. So this is going to add one empty line. Then after that, I'm just printing the username and the password. So let's save this script now. And let's run it. Let's enter our username. Now for the password, you can see I am entering the password, but it's not visible because of the silent mode. And as soon as I hit enter, you can observe all the data, that is username and password, is being printed. Now let's see one more example where we can enter multiple words or input using an array. So at the beginning, we saw one example where we were using multiple variables to hold the multiple inputs from the user. And then we talked about these three cases. So these three cases were for the number of input or the word, and then the number of variables. Now we are going to talk about the input which is being taken into array. Alright guys, so I have this script which is going to read multiple inputs into an array, and I have used echo command to display this message, enter names, and then I'm going to read the input that the user is going to enter into this variable names. And this variable is an array because we are using this flag -a. So this -a helps the script to read an array. Then we are using the echo command to display this message that entered names are, and then we are displaying only the first and the second index of this array. Let's run this now. And as you can observe, we are displaying only two indices of the array. So let's enter 3 names and see. So you can observe, even though we are entering 3 names and those 3 names were saved also, but since we are using only 2 indices, that is the 0 and the 1, so we cannot print the third one. You can observe the third one to be ignored or rejected. This is contrary to what we have seen in the variables. During the time of discussion of reading input into variables, we saw that when the variables are less than the number of inputs, then in the last variable, all the leftover inputs were saved and then printed. But this is not in the case of array. Here, the inputs which are extra are right away ignored or not printed anywhere. And let's enter only one name. So the second index remains empty. So that's all for user input topic. I hope you were able to understand this topic of how we take input from the user and how we save them into variables or into array, and how does this assignment works when the number of input is less than or more than the number of variables. Then how does it work when the number of input is less than or more than the number of array indices that we are printing. So that's all for this video. In the next video, we shall talk about the date format or date command. So if you like the video, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care and thanks for watching.